Hi guys, today I'm here with a long overdue foundation review. We are chatting about the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Why did it take me so long to try it? I don't know, but I always get distracted with what's new and shiny. But anytime that I've reviewed a cult favorite foundation that I've been late to, like Lancome or the Estee Lauder, I'm always blown away. I have been testing this out, so this is by no means a first impression, but I will be showing you before and afters, application, flash photo test. I will also have timestamps down below if you would like to skip ahead along with other oily skin content, but let's go ahead and get started. So this foundation has been out for some time. It now comes in 35 different shades. They expanded the shade range sometime last year in collaboration with Jackie Aina, which is always something I'm really excited to see. They also extended the shade range on their Born This Way concealer. I do have a full review with swatches on this linked down below if you'd like to check that out. But nice shade range in here. You're getting a full fluid ounce, which is the average size of a foundation, and it retails for $39 American, $49 Canadian. Glass bottle, frosted with the pump, really nice packaging. I have also reviewed the Peach Perfect along with the what was that? The Do You, and I believe in both of those I wore the shade Sand, which was an okay match, but it definitely lacked a little bit of warmth. Today I'm wearing the shade Honey, which I think is a better match for me. I know they have extended the shades on the Peach Perfect. I have not tried that, but I would definitely like to get a better shade in that. But I will link to those two reviews down below. I am going to prime half of my face using the Hangover primer, so I'll prime this half of my face, and then we'll go ahead and get into application. Yes. You ready? That's my cat, not my baby. Gotta say it. So this foundation claims to be oil-free. It says it's full coverage with a radiant finish, and it recommends for skin types, pretty much all skin types. It says normal, oily, combo, and dry. And I do feel like a lot of people really like this foundation. Also, if you're curious about my shades and other foundations, that's always linked down below. Just a few other like popular ones if you're trying to figure out what shade I generally am. But I have to say, I feel like this is a good shade match because it's not too yellow. Like I've said before, I'm kind of like this goldeny peach, if that makes sense, and because historically I've gone a little too yellow on foundations. And I am using a sponge today, also linked below. That will give you a little less coverage. Denser brush will give you more coverage. I'm not looking to go full coverage today. That's not really my preference for foundation. I think you can get nice coverage out of it, but I wouldn't say it's like the fullest coverage foundation when you compare it to something like a Double Wear, but I do think the coverage is really beautiful. The whole point is supposed to be it's supposed to look like you were born this way, obviously. And I don't think anything that's supposed to be like full coverage would really make it look like you were born that way, but that's neither here nor there. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. I used about 2 pumps. You don't get that much out of a pump. And I don't really notice any scent. I always get people saying like, oh my god, that foundation's scented, why didn't you say it? I'm like, I'm really not sensitive to scents. Unless it's like a Huda Beauty foundation or like Dior. I don't smell much, but obviously I'm not a good judge of that. There's also Alpine Rose in here, hyaluronic acid, and what was the other thing? Coconut water? Yeah, coconut water. So some light hydrators in there, but it is oil free. I really love the way this foundation looks. I wouldn't say it's like a super, like the way that they say it's radiant. It could be a little intimidating. I've actually very rarely come across that. I feel like whenever I'm looking up foundations for reviews, does it ever say radiant? And I wouldn't say like this, if you have normal or dry skin, I don't think you would even need to set it. Not that it's super matte or tight, but it does dry down with a really nice finish. I always set everything no matter what, but it does have a nice kind of glow to it without it looking super greasy. So I think that that's what kind of makes it good for the majority of skin types, because you do get a little bit of glow. It's a little bit natural. I would say it's definitely more of a natural finish, in my opinion, than something that is radiant. But anyways, what I want to talk about is the concealer as well, because they did send me the one of the newer shades, Cookie, from the line, because I was kind of thinking that might be a good shade for me. I have been wearing Warm Beige, which I really like, but I'm just always curious. I'm like, could Cookie be better? But for me anyways, Warm Beige is definitely still the better shade for my under eyes. So this is Warm Beige here. You can see it's a little bit more beige obviously and a little bit more neutral, while Cookie is a slight bit deeper and a little more yellow. So if you are like perhaps an NC44 in MAC and you like a lighter under eye, that could be a good option for you, because I'm a 42 and this is like just a little bit lighter than my skin tone. But I absolutely love this concealer. It is one of my favorite concealers. I try a lot of products obviously, and but I really fall in love with concealers because I'm very picky about concealers. So for a very long time I was team Tarte Shape Tape, and I really loved that. And then when this came out, it replaced it for me, and nothing has replaced it since. There's other concealers that I really love and I absolutely recommend, but when it comes to me putting on a face of makeup that I know is gonna look its best, I always reach for this, or travel, I reach for it. I just really, really love it. I love the shade match. It comes with a ton of product in there. As I mentioned in the review for it, you're getting half a fluid ounce. So although it's high-end, a high-end price tag, you're getting like, it's ounce for ounce. For some drugstore foundations, an actually better deal because it's half the size of a foundation. I like to pat out any concealer with my fingers. I feel like it gives the best coverage. Yeah, and it's just really beautiful. When I compared it to the Shape Tape, I felt like it gave me the same amount of coverage. Yeah, it gives me the same amount of coverage. It gives me the same long wear time, but it's just slightly creamier on application. Not as much like throughout the day as it wears, but yeah, it's just really, really gorgeous. So I'm gonna go apply the rest of my makeup. I will come back and chat about flash photos as well. It does not contain any SPF, at least here in Canada. I'm not totally sure about the United States. I forgot to look that up, but I do really love the way that these two products play together, but they also play well separately. Like, I've worn the foundation on its own with no concealer, with other brands of concealers. I've been wearing this concealer for as long as it's been out. I've been in love with it and worn it with a bunch of different things. So they both play nicely separately, but also play really well together. The original Born This Way concealer I did not like. The shade range wasn't good, the coverage wasn't good, and it was just like made my under eyes look kind of gray and didn't do any covering. It made things look worse. But the thing I like about the concealer, although I'm not reviewing it right now technically, is that I can go light with it and it gives a nice amount of coverage, or I can go a little heavier with it and it gives even more coverage. Because for me, sometimes concealers and under eye powders for some reason can work against me and make my under eyes look worse, but not the case here with this. It's like I'd rather just have no concealer on in some cases, if that makes sense. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Okay, so full face of makeup has been applied. As always, everything I'm wearing will be listed down below. I did try a few new things from Too Faced, or new to me, but I had never tried their dark chocolate Soleil. I had the lighter one, which never really worked for me. So I'm wearing that today. I really like it. Definitely really powdery though, in comparison to some of the bronzers that I've been using lately. Like, I dug my brush in there and then immediately regretted it. But otherwise, a really beautiful warm bronzer. Also wearing, I haven't really worn eyeliner in quite some time. I just have been kind of lazy, I guess. But I'm wearing the Better Than Sex liner. I feel like that looked really, really beautiful. I've been obsessed with the Benefit liner, and this kind of reminds me of that in terms of the way it actually applied, and the pen style I find really, really easy to work with. So we'll see how it wears throughout the day. In general, I don't get like particularly watery eyes or anything like that, so I don't have a lot of issues with things transferring and whatnot. But otherwise, I think things look really good. As for photos, here in my lighting, I thought it looked really beautiful, natural. You can kind of see that sheen to the skin. And then in flash photos, it does say on their listing that it is photo friendly, and it looked very photo friendly to me. No white cast. It didn't look like super flat on the skin. It didn't look super, super shiny. I thought it looked really beautiful, and I did take it in more or less a completely dark room with flash. So overall, things look really good, as to be expected. Like I said, this is not a first impression, so should be no huge shockers here, but I'm gonna go about my day. I will check back with you in some natural light so you can get a better look. And I'll see you then. Hello, coming to you with my midday check-in in some natural light. I think that things look really good, and I actually went for about a 30-ish minute walk, 40-ish minute walk, and it's quite warm today, so my face did get a little bit sweaty, but I think things still look good. I was wearing sunglasses, so I feel like it has worn away a little bit around my nose, but now that I'm back inside, things have gotten like less oily, doesn't look like it's oxidized, doesn't feel heavy or cakey, doesn't feel like it's moved around, doesn't look like that either, or patched away. So I think you can see here, I'll get a little closer. I think you can see here that things still look really, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead about the rest of my day. Rue has ever so rudely turned her back to us. I was thinking she might say hi, but anyways, I will go about the rest of my day and I will check back with you this evening. Hey guys, I am back. It is the end of the evening as I have my headband on. I don't know why I love this headband so much. I just find them so comfortable. They're from the Body Shop. But anyways, we are here to talk about the Too Faced foundation. As I already know, I do really, really like this. I lost a little bit of foundation right here because of my sunglasses. You can always put a little extra powder there. I didn't really do anything to prevent it. And a little bit on my nose. I always lose foundation there. And I think I lost a smidge right here, but I kind of feel like a trash bag right now. I've got a really bad headache. I was doing a bunch of emails. It's a Friday afternoon as I'm filming this, so that's always when a ton of emails came in and I was just like super annoyed and like typing and doing this. So it doesn't look like super patchy or anything, but I definitely just lost like a little bit of coverage there. Overall, I really love this foundation. I can't directly compare it to the other two Too Faced foundations that I tried because, like I said, those are both in the shade Sand, so they weren't like an ideal match for me, so I didn't find myself reaching for them all the time, but I will link to them down below. The Dew You foundation is definitely more dewy. The Peach foundation is definitely more matte. This leans somewhere more in the middle, but has a better shade range overall, I think. So I think the majority of people could enjoy this. I absolutely love the concealer, no surprise there. And considering I really didn't work hard to keep my eyes in shape today, the eyeliner held up really well too. Bronzer, highlight, everything is still on my face. So I really, really like this. The hype is real on this guy. If you can get a sample at your local Sephora to see if it will work for you. Primed versus unprimed, I don't see a huge difference there. Nothing major, and that primer is not really meant to do anything other than kind of hydrate the skin. I didn't have any issues with oxidization. I don't have particularly large pores, so I don't feel like it did anything there, or I don't have issues with like creasing and things like that on my face. My biggest issue are oils, patchiness, and all that kind of stuff. So overall, I think this is a really good foundation, and I think the majority of skin types could really enjoy this, and I know the majority of skin types does really enjoy that, historically speaking, from what I've heard from you anyway. So if you've been waiting for this review, I'm sorry that it took so long, but I absolutely love this foundation. It's definitely become one that I've incorporated into my routine pretty regularly, so that's always a good sign to me. So I will have everything linked down below. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!